Hi, and welcome to the Glow Interviews. My name is Katie Onan, and I am an author, psychic, motivational speaker, and coach. The Glow Interviews is a place where we can talk to some really amazing and inspirational people who are a light in the darkness. I know that through talking with them, we'll all be left feeling empowered, inspired, and hopeful of a brighter tomorrow. All of the contact details for both myself and my guests are in the links below, so do feel free to check them out if you want to know more. Today's guest is Kris Meredith. He works as a TV presenter on Psychic Today. He's also been a radio presenter for both Heart and Capital FM, and has his own show with Keep It Spiritual podcast on YouTube. Kris is human sunshine, and he brings light wherever he goes. Trust me on this, I know it for sure. I am so excited to chat with him today. So, hi Kris, how's things?
How you doing, sweetie? Really, really good. So excited to be on as well. And am I glowing enough?
You, darling, you always glow. You always glow. I told you, you're human sunshine, you know?
Oh, I love it. So excited that you're doing this as well. And what a great way to spread positivity around, sweet. I love it.
Yeah, well, absolutely, because I'm sick of moaning and sick of feeling the pity party for one. So it's like, well, you know, what can you do? You have to find something positive, you know?
Best thing to do, love. Best thing to do.
Exactly. So look, first question, we've got to talk about this elephant in the room, babe. You know, we can't get away from it. 2020, it's been proper rubbish. Let's be real here. And so, how are you? How have you been coping? And have you been able to find any good things in this crazy time that we're in?
The easiest answer for that for me is just kind of going with the flow. But I remember at the end of 2019 and everyone going, 2020, it's the year of balance. It's going to be a great year. And you know, when I look back and I'm just like, really?
Yeah,
Really?
no.
That was kind of what everyone was saying, and obviously it's not been like that. But you know, it's kind of, I think the way that it's all gone, we all wasn't prepared for it. No one had a clue what was going to go through. And I think no matter, you know, how well people kind of think within themselves, oh, I've dealt with it badly, I've dealt with it, you know, in a great way, it doesn't matter as long as we've all got through it and getting through it. Because for me, don't watch the news anymore, because I just can't be dealing with, you know, the kind of stress of it, and it's all a bit dowdy and down and all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of go your own way. Go with yourself. You know, for me, you know, I love angels, so I surround myself with all my angel books and angels and just read them and pop them in at night. If I can't sleep, I pop them in my little headphones, and that sends me off to sleep. But it's kind of finding a positive distraction, I'd say, for me, has been the best thing. And a little bit like you, because Keep It Spiritual was kind of born February, March time, right at the beginning. And that has really kept me really busy and speaking to so many, you know, amazing people, including yourself. It's kind of kept me, you know, kind of sane, and, you know, listening to what other people are going through and how they're dealing with it. It's kind of let me put the jigsaw puzzle of all this COVID-19 craziness together. But on the main thing as well, it's kind of, I've had to put the brakes on like many people. You know, I've lost shifts and work and things like that. So it's not been easy. You know, I'm in a better situation because I've got my partner. So, you know, I'm not in the worst situation at all, like some people out there. But, you know, professional wise, personal wise, the stresses and strains on every single level. But I just think it's down to, you know, us as a person of kind of think, no, you know, we're better than this. We deserve more than this situation, than what the media is kind of throwing at us. And it's kind of like, no, you know, we're light beings. I love, you know, the love and light and angels and that positive healing kind of side of life. And for me, that has been the biggest like guiding light that I could ever have hoped for. And I would say it's proper got me through. And of course, my Westie Bert, he's been a lifesaver as well.
Honest to God, Kris has got the cutest dog ever. If you, honestly, go and check him out on the ground and see Bert. You will fall in love with this dog. Honestly, he's so cute.
He's
and
amazing.
The little video she posted of him, I'm just like, oh, he's so gorgeous.
He is, but you know, because I've had to keep going out with Bert, because obviously he's got to go out in the morning, got to go out at night. You know, that's kept a routine there as well. And it's, you know, my work is very different, because I finished university in 2019, then got my job with Psychic Today. But of course, it's freelance, so it's not always guaranteed. And when I started, I went from like one shift to then like 5 shifts and then 10 shifts. And then February, March comes, and then it was 1 shift again, and then 2 shifts. And it's been 4 shifts, since March. So, 4 shifts a month, and it's not a lot. So then it was kind of like, I'm a person that likes to be busy and to do things. So, and that was when I was kind of like twiddling my thumbs, and I was like, well, what can I do with my time that's, positive? And in university, that's when I came up with the idea of Keep It Spiritual for the podcast and the YouTube show. But my uni tutor was a bit like, no, the markers won't like that. Don't do anything like that. Do something else. So I always had that kind of idea of Keep It Spiritual there, but never did anything with it until like February, March, until I kind of knew what to do. And I just thought, well, why not? Because I used to be like, no, I can't go on YouTube. What are people going to think? What we're going to talk about? And, but like now I look back and you kind of think, you'll be the same in like a year's time. You'll be like, wow, I've spoke to a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how quick, it can evolve as well. So yeah, in a nutshell, ups and downs, we're getting through it. We're doing our best, and we'll see what the future holds.
That's all you can do. I keep saying, all I keep saying to people is, well, just do today. Just do today, and then worry about tomorrow when it comes. Because if you look too far ahead, it stresses you out, because nothing is now guaranteed. So just do today, and then we'll do tomorrow, and then we'll just keep doing it that way. That's all you can do.
That's the easiest thing to do, and that's the nice way to do it, is do it in like easy, manageable chunks. You just kind of think, a day can be as stressful, as horrible, and whatever. You just don't know what a day is going to bring anymore. So I think, like some of your books as well, full of positive, affirmations. If you start your day on a positive note, and I think no matter what comes to you, you can deal with it. But if you start that day, like when you've banged your toe, you're angry, you've dropped a plate on the floor, it's not going to go well, is it? So I think what you do is probably, set your day out right, set your stall for the day to be a good day.
Definitely. I like that. Absolutely. So in your bio, I mentioned all the amazing presenting work that you do, but I know that you've not always done that, because Katie does her research. Hello. You started off as a cabin crew on BA, did you not? So how did you make the leap into television and radio? How did that come about?
Well, I'll tell you what, it goes back even further. I've done many things. Well, since I was 16, my first ever like proper job was working as a super family entertainer for Thompson's in Corfu for a year. And that was basically, you're chucked in and that was like you sink or you swim. And honestly, that job, because I was with an entertainer called Charlotte. We didn't really see eye to eye, and she was quite posh, wore Victoria Beckham jeans, and didn't really want to be an entertainer. Then I came in, all bold as brash from Manchester, and I think she thought, "What's that?"
Really?
I don't know. But anyway, that didn't kind of work. She ended up leaving. Then I was by myself for a while. But that kind of job really made me grow up and kind of bridged me from being a kid. And when I come back, I was kind of like grown up, a bit more responsible, only had myself to depend on. And that kind of role kind of gave me that presenting kind of entertainment bug, so you say. So that was installed then. Then from that, I worked for Bradford and Bingley, if you remember them, the Building Society.
I do. Wow.
Two years with them when I was at a vocal artist college. So I used to do a bit of singing as well back in the day.
Strings, this
it is, and it's always been kind of entertaining from that. And then from that I went doing BA, so of course cabin crew, something I always wanted to do. And for anyone that's done any kind of cabin crew training or anything, but like with BA, it was like learning a new language, because you've not just got one plane and that's it. You've got, so many different variations of your A19s, A21, 22, your 747s, not anymore, unfortunately, but then obviously got your A380s, so many different planes, and like procedure and equipment and everything you've got to learn, and you're tested every single day. And when you started on my first day at BA, you got 8 points against your name. And on your training, so if you failed a test, that's 3 points gone. If you lost your points, you was gone. And they tell you that. Oh, they did every single day. So with a girl, if she, like if her hair kind of went on a collar, that would be a point. If if you had creases in your uniform, that would be a point. So there's many, it was a stressful time, and you'd be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning revising for your test that day. So, it was the most difficult thing I've done. But I did it for a year because I live in Manchester, and you had to commute, and the commute was just too expensive. I mean, like with BA, it was like, well, you're working for BA, you chose it, so you make your own way there. It's as simple as that. So I just did it, excuse me, for as long as I possibly could do it. And that was really roughly for a year. And then from that, I went to working for a skincare brand called Creme de la Mer. I worked my way up to manager in Selfridges in Manchester. So I worked for those for 5 years. And that was, great, turn the counter around, great staff, great product, just a lot of pressure with targets and things like that. So I did the counter as much, got it out of deficit, and it was doing really well. And then I was like, right, I'm a bit bored now. What should I do then? And then I went working for Harvey Nicks as a beauty personal shopper, as you do. And that was a good job, but the role never kind of come to fruition. It looked better on paper, so got a bit bored. And then I went working for Virgin Money. And then from Virgin Money, it was the hands on heart, great company, I suppose now, but one of the worst jobs for me, because it was just very stressful. It wasn't the kind of brand I thought it was going to be. And it just wasn't, old Virgin, because it used to be the old Northern Rock. So I was kind of like, what have I done here? So that really gave me the motivation then to kind of think, no, I've done all these jobs now. I've kind of brought money home for a long time. I need to do something I want to do in my heart. And that's why I was like, well, I'm going to go to university. And that's basically what I did. I found the course, which was broadcast, presenting and production, TV and radio. And then I basically come home to Paul and I was like, yeah, I'm starting uni on Monday. And basically, and that was what I did. And he could have gone, well, you can start, but you can get out. Or, and I just took a bit of a risk. And for me, it's one of the best things I've ever done, because I never thought, I'm the first person in my family to go to university as well. And of course, and graduate for me is a big thing, because I'm not the most academic person. I don't like essays and all that kind of stuff. There was an exam in the first year, which I hated, but it was kind of like that passion kind of, pulled me through. And then graduated, and then Psychic Today came knocking. And then I've been at Psychic Today since July 2019. And then obviously I've just been doing, my own thing with Keep It Spiritual as well on the side. And here I am. So I'm just kind of going with the flow, whatever's next. So, but every single job I've done has always been with people. And it has. And, everything good, bad, I think has kind of brought me here. But for me, and this is one thing as well that's always been there, because the reason why, why Keep It Spiritual, is it Psychic Today? No, since I was like 16, I've always been interested, just by my own kind of way, into kind of crystals, and angels have always been there. And I used to go to like music and meditations, and just things like that. And that kind of spiritual pulse has always been there, even though it's not, always been what I've done. But I've always kind of bought, Soul and Spirit and Destiny magazine. That's been me keeping my fingers in, just kind of finding out what's going on while doing like normal life. So yeah, it's been interesting so far. And I'm only 33.
Okay. Wow. What we can establish from that is Kris doesn't like being bored. I get it though. I get it, because I'm the same. I'm like, what's next? It's always like,
but
what
it
else
should
can we do?
I mean, I get that. And I think, as far as we know, like this is, my one life right now. And I just think, make the most of it. And I've always been, to my mum's horror and, Paul's horror, I've always gone with my heart rather than my head. So if it doesn't feel right, I don't think about, oh, where's the money going to come from for the bills or, that kind of stuff. Being like, well, I'm not happy. I don't like it. And, and then I'll find something else. And that's just where I've
my
always been.
mentor, way back when, she told me, if you jump, your angels will catch you.
Yeah,
That's kind of always stuck in my head. It's like, you have to, don't settle. If you're not happy, do something, and trust that making that change in your life, you know, that they will support you, you know, because they want you to be happy as well. So
they want you to live your best life. And if you're
yeah.
not, and if you're in a situation right now and you're kind of thinking, you know, it's not working for me, you know, anymore, or I'm just not feeling the same way, you know, try and find something, you know, that you want to do. Or if you don't know, ask and
Yeah.
see what comes. That's what I
Definitely.
think. Yeah.
Definitely. So you see yourself as a light worker. What do you see as the role of light workers in the world right now with everything that's going on?
Just to show people, you know, the light completely, but their own light. Because I think, you know, one thing for me, that coming into the spiritual community, and I'm, you know, finding my way within this. And it's kind of like I'm learning from many different people, but then also trying to kind of shine my light and help other people at the same time. So it's kind of like people are guiding, you know, different lights that everyone have got. But I think, you know, the most important thing is to let people know, you know, they're not alone. We're all going through this together. And no matter, you know, how dark it gets, because we all have crap days. We all,
Yeah.
you know, have days when, you know, the energy, because I think the last like 2 weeks, the energy's been really heavy. It's been weird. I've just liked it. There's days, like even with me, it's kind of, you know, you just think like, oh my God, you know, because you do struggle and you kind of think, I'm going in the right direction. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You know, question so many different things, and I do. And sometimes I think, like, I kick myself because I think, you know, I love that I went to uni, I love that I did the degree, but has it got me a proper job that pays a lot of money? No, it's not. But I followed my heart. So, you know, you've got to go with that. Like right now, you know, would I want, you know, a lot of money in my bank, or would I want to be in the situation right now, a bit more money in my bank? So, you know, it's just the way that it goes. You know, them down days get to us all. And no matter what people kind of put here and around here, everything's perfect. It isn't. We're all normal, real people. You know, we don't all get up and the sun is shining. You know, you might get up and there'll be a bill on your table and it's the worst thing ever. But it's our job then. Okay, you've got that. Okay, but how do we deal with that? What do we do about that? And
exactly.
To lift kind of, you know, the consciousness of people, but in the right way. I always think that's so important, and not, you know, not just to sell and do what, you know, so many people do. It's not about that. It's about the person. I think, yes, of course, you know, people need to make a living. I understand that. But I think, you know, the main payment in, you know, this kind of job is the payment that people are happy.
Yeah.
That's definitely. That's it. And I always, and with Thompson, I always remember one of the entertainment when we had like a little training session, and she said, like, Kris, what is one thing you want from life? I know it's really corny, and she started laughing. And I said, it's to make people smile. Yeah. And that's it. And that is it. And, you know, whether it's entertaining 500 people doing steps 5, 6, 7, 8, or, you know, if it's on Psychic Today, telling a story, or, you know, doing the podcast, interviewing people, you know, doing this, if that brings people joy and it makes them feel happy, you know, that's a job well done.
Yeah, definitely. If people kind of let love lead the way and let joy and kind of trying to uplift each other and help each other, the world would be a lot nicer place to be in, right?
It definitely would be. And I think, you know, more people are kind of getting on, you know, this train, and so many people are interested in, you know, the spiritual side, the community, and things like that, and how, you know, it can help kind of lift them up. And just having, I mean, because I'm not a religious person. Like, I've never, like, I've been to church for christenings and weddings and things, but I've never been brought up a, you know, religious person. But I've always believed in angels. So, you know, take that what you will. But for me, that's a kind of faith. That's like my own kind of faith, because, you know, I pray when I go to bed. If there's anything that I want help with, I crystals under my pillow, and it's just something that I've always done that's felt natural to me, and that's you know, that's my way. Many people have got their own ways, but for me to know I've kind of got that, and if I, you know, really need help or support with something, and to call, you know, for me, that's such a comfort. And I think everyone should have something like that, even if it's, you know, it could be anything. It could be a lamp, whatever it is. You know, you need to have that comfort within yourself to call on something when you need it.
Definitely. So, what's been your hardest lesson on your journey so far, and what did it teach you?
Well, I'd say my hardest lesson completely, and I think, you know, I'm still going through it, is kind of knowing what I'm here for. That's been the biggest question in my life. I wish kind of, you know, when you're born, some people have it, you know, when they're 5, I want to be a doctor, and then they follow that, then that's that, then they're off. You know, they've got installed in them what they want to do. And with me, it's been, you know, because I kind of brought up, you know, as soon as you've finished school, you know, you go and get a job, and, you know, that's kind of stuff. And it's kind of messes with things a little bit because you're not kind of going your own way.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? And you kind of think, well, okay, I'll just do this. But then you end up in the trap where jobs that you don't like. And you're in situations, you know, where you're kind of forced into because the kind of restrictions of modern life, you know, you've got bills to pay, things like that, where you think, well, I need a job because I need to, you know, pay the bills, but I'm not happy in what I'm doing. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle where, you know, if I had my time again, like 16, 17, 18, that would be time when I kind of thinking, what do I really, you know, want to do? But in my age then, I was more bothered about bloody steps getting number 1 and, you know, that kind of stuff. My head was very where it should be. You know,
you're still bothered about that now, by the way.
No, I really am. I really am. New singles out and everything. Album's coming out soon. Can't wait. So excited. It's both booked as well. Boom, boom. November 21. Going to be there. Yeah, still a kid, babe. Still a kid. But yeah, I just think, you know, for me, it is that kind of realization of, you know, what am I here to do? And with everything that I've got, you know, the broadcast side for me has always been there, and that entertainment kind of side, but the spiritual side has always been there as well, and they've kind of run parallel. But I've kind of always been in this battle, especially when I was younger. It was kind of like, well, what is it I'm supposed to do? You know, I want to do the broadcast, but then I don't want to leave the spiritual side. And Carol Wallace, Crystal Carol, who is in Ashton near me, she was one of the first places where I kind of went, Crystal shop, and they, you know, went for a reading with her. And she just said, well, your broadcast and your spiritual is going to come together. Yeah. Said, that's what you're going to do. And I was just like, huh? How is that going to happen? But then when I got a psychic today and stuff, she was like, told you. But, you know, it's kind of like, okay, that's interesting. But even for me, you know, like the presenting, the broadcast side, I've always got that. But it's like now the kind of spiritual side, that development side, you know, with angels, I want to develop that more because I just think living a life where you're kind of working in the light properly, but understand it properly, because there's still so much, you know, I need to learn. But for me, that seems more kind of my direction right now. But yeah, I wish I had that when I was like 16 and then it'd be fine.
Yeah, but you know, I'm a great believer now that nothing is wasted, and everything that you've done kind of takes you to where you're supposed to be. You know, you're learning skills, you're learning attributes, you've got qualifications, you're meeting people. It all takes you to like this point in your life of where you're supposed to be. Yeah. It takes a while to get there. That's what hindsight's really good. You know, because you can look back and go, okay.
Well, you just think, and you do think, and you know, like even like situations where maybe, you know, you dealt with a situation, you didn't deal with it the best way, and you kind of think, do I really deal with that situation like that? Like, who was I back then? And you kind of cringe a bit because it's like, I wouldn't do that now. But, you know, in those situations with like frustrations and you're angry and, you know, and you're young as well, you know, you don't necessarily make the best choices. But I suppose, you know, like you just said, it is kind of those, every single thing I've done has led me to here right now, you know, speaking to you. And, you know, it's those kind of things like now, I'm really thankful of this. So, you know, you can't be regretful because if I didn't behave that way, you know, certain things wouldn't happen and you just don't know where your path will lead. So
exactly. Absolutely. So if you could get in a DeLorean and travel back in time to your childhood self, how would you say to him?
Oh, what would I say? Just don't be bothered about what people think, like at all, because I always remember for me when I was growing up and, you know, even in my teens, there was no such thing as gay. Like, I didn't know. I knew I liked boys, but, you know, I didn't know it was a thing, if you know what I mean. There was no talk of it, even though my uncle's gay, but there was no kind of conversations. There was nothing on TV back then or anything like that. So it was just never a thing. It was just a thing, oh, I like boys. And that was really, really it. But it was kind of, as I got kind of older, and I remember at my brother's 18th, and we had like a big party in the local Labour club. And I always remember, like, I used to love, but put the dances on, I'd get up and just, you know, love life. And I always remember, I don't know who it was, but a guy said to me, he just said, he went, oh, you're a puff. And that, right, and that situation, right, as soon as he said that, I sat down and I remember my mum going, what is wrong with you? And I wouldn't tell her. And and I just and I just stayed out of the party. I just didn't get up dancing. And I always remember that moment, kind of thinking, why did I do that? But that was the first time I ever like dealt with that kind of situation where, that kind of always sticks in my mind, thinking, if I went back to that moment, it would have been like, like now you'd be like, and
yeah,
away, you've got the problem, not me. See you in a bit. But
yeah, exactly.
and you're kind of growing up, it's just, those kind of mechanisms of life, they're just not there. So it's, yeah, I just kind of think, and I did used to worry a lot and just kind of think, oh, if I wear this, would I look too kind of flamboyant? And even though I wanted to wear it, or is it too bright? And like now, I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I want to wear it. I want to wear it. If I want to do what I want to do, it's what I want to do, and that's that. Really, but
I found that I think a lot of people who judge, they wish they had the confidence to be that brave themselves.
Yeah.
I found that a lot. They first of all, most people are too bothered about themselves to be thinking about you, right? So everyone's, oh God, what's everyone thinking about me? They're not. They're thinking about themselves. Yeah. And if they are thinking about you, it's because they've got deep insecurities that they're not facing, and they don't like themselves very much. So they project that onto you. So for anybody watching out there who worries what people think, honestly, it's not worth the energy. It's really not worth the energy. Just be you at the end of the day. It's all you can be. It's you born to be, right?
That's it. And that's good. And I think, and being you, no matter what, there's only ever going to be one you. So own that, be yourself. But the thing is, bosses, people above you, because trust me, I've had some run-ins with some, idiot bosses through my time. And, even when they're kind of idiots in that work situation, don't like that some people are like outspoken, maybe, not talk back, but maybe you just air your views and they don't like that. And, there's many situations like that, and people underneath it are threatened. That's what it is. And people trying to dull your light, and just don't let them, if you're in that situation, own it and remove yourself. That's the best thing that I could say, if you can.
Absolutely.
Remove yourself out of a toxic situation.
Absolutely. I love that. Definitely. So now, who or what inspires you to be your best self?
I would say for me, it's just, just living life every single day, for everyone. There's so many people, I can't really pinpoint just kind of one person. I've never, kind of when people go through things and they go, they're my one idol. That's it. I aspire to be them. For me, it's never been that, because I think, everybody goes their own way. And they do, and you are your own person. And if you see, things that you like in people, of course, people copy things and things like that, but, try and make it your own. So you own that. And I think, that's the best way to be, regardless of what you do, what you want to do in your life. It's kind of, there's so many good people out there to learn from, and just take the kind of best of what works for you and make it work for you in the best way possible. But I love my music more than anything. I've always been into music as well, and like the biggest, of course, like Steps growing up, but then like Delta Goodrum, she's like one of my big like idols. Love her to bits. And Dammy Im, she's a big person that I follow as well, and they're great there in inspirational kind of music, as I love just to have time with music, because I think it heals as well. So that's a big thing and a big motivator for me. But as I'm going older, it's more that kind of angelic kind of light that's a big kind of pull and inspiration for me. And it is a big thing. Even when I meditate, when I used to meditate when I was 16, 17, and you kind of go in that space, and, they say, oh, call your angels close. And then you can feel like things tickling you and pulling your hair and and things like that. And when people say, oh, it's a lot of crap, and it's kidology and things, and it's like, but it's my own situation. Why would I lie to myself?
Exactly.
Why would I make that up? I wouldn't make things like that up. I just wouldn't do that. So it's kind of like, well, I know it's real. So that's that, So I'd say, maybe angels have been a big constant inspiration as well, really.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm totally with you on that one. So angel high five. What's next, really? I know you kind of trying to figure out your path, and kind of still, obviously with COVID, still romping, around the world. But What do you want next for yourself, moving into 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, but what I want to do a course on angelic Reiki or angelic healing. That's the next. It's what I wanted to do in February. And what I plan to do in February, but obviously because of everything, you know, it's really put things on hold, and I have to do it in person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it needs to be. It's like Zoom's great, but I think something like that for me, it just has to be with someone else. I just don't want me just sitting here. I'm like, I do feel a bit of a tit sometimes. You know, when you just kind of like, you know, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm getting it. Yeah, I'm getting it. And I'm just like, but I'm just at home. Do you know what I mean? I have to be in the actual kind of, you know, different place, different space, different energy. And I mean, it even goes down to things where I always remember I went to this kind of development class years ago, and it was in this old cottage. It was beautiful, but they couldn't use real candles because if they left a candle on, it'll burn the whole cottage down or something. But I was like, but it doesn't feel the same. So I didn't go back because I was like, but you need proper.
They have those like little tea lights.
Little,
yeah. I know what you mean.
But it's just not the same, and no incense and things. I was like, for me, I'm all about the kind of atmosphere and kind of how it all is. I'm very much in with that. You know, I want the music playing. I want the lovely lights, and just to really get in the zone. You know, I think it adds to it. So yeah, I mean, 100% definitely angel healing. I want to go with that. I want to, you know, develop myself on that path. So then, you know, I've got something, you know, proper for me to kind of give back. Because that's what I want to do. But develop that relationship, you know, with my own guardian angels and my own angels, and see where that kind of takes me. But it's definitely angelic. Anyway, my future, whichever way I look at it. And then the broadcast side, you know, that will still be psychic today. Of course, I've got my shifts for next month, so I'm still there as long as they'll have me. But then we'll just, you know, keep going and, you know, looking, you know, for normal jobs as well, because got to pay the bills at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it goes, really. You know, I've got to support my partner to support for, you know, he's supporting me for uni and things like that. Of course, I've had small jobs, but at the moment, it's kind of like, you know, I want to bring home a proper wage now and just be, you know, there you are for a bit, have that. So whether that's through, you know, the angel work later on down the line, I don't know, but we'll just have to see what the future holds.
Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, there's a greater plan for you out there, and it's going to be interesting to watch you go down it. Definitely. Bless you. So, last question, my darling. These interviews are called the Glow interviews because I wanted to bring some light to the darkness. So, in that vein, what lights you up? What brings you joy?
Oh, brings me joy. Oh, we mentioned him before. My Westie. It is, but I've got to say, he does bring me the most joy. Like, even, you know, I am one of those mad Westie people. Like, I watch him sleep, and that feeling, like, in your heart, it's just like, even he's just asleep, but then my heart's just like, boom, you know, and it's just little things that he does.
Unless he farts, because dog farts are not fun, right? There's no joy in that.
He is funny, though, because he doesn't make a noise, and he looks around, and it's like, it weren't me, it was you. And he kind of gives you the evils, and it's like, what? But he is like Bert, because the story with Bert, how it all happened was, we moved into this apartment. We've been in it now for 8 years. And when we moved in, Paul's apartment before, and then we moved in, and then I was like, I've had Yorkshire Terriers before, never had Westie, but I've always wanted a Westie, like, in my whole life. I've always wanted a Westie, and I've always wanted him to be called Bert. That's just one of the things that I've always wanted. And then obviously moved into the apartment. I was like, I can't live my life without a dog. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And then Paul's like, no, not getting a dog. It'll wee, it'll poo everywhere, it'll ruin the apartment. We're not having it. And that was that. So then I was like, what's the next best thing? So I was like, well, maybe I can try and get my mum, see if my mum will get a dog. And then we'll kind of, you know, maybe share it, or I just try to kind of think of other ways how we could get a dog. So on this one Saturday, my mum come round, and then we went to like Manchester Dogs Homes. We went to like rescue centres. But they weren't, no Westies, there were no kind of like dogs that would really suit us, unfortunately, there. And then Paul was like, oh, I know somewhere. And then so we went to, they had puppies and older dogs and, you know, everything there, all well looked after and everything. And then we were just walking, and then in kennel 39, there was Bert. Well, like he weren't Bert then, but, you know, he was. And he was there. And then I was just like, I asked the woman, I said, oh, can I get that dog out, please? And then can I have a look at him, hold him and stuff? And I did. And he's there biting my hands. And then Paul's like, put him back. put him back now, we're going, put him back, come on, now, going. And then basically dragged me out. And then so he was working the next day, so I made him feel a bit guilty that I was working on a Sunday. And then he rang me and he was like, all right. I was like, yeah. He was like, do you want to go and see if Bert's still there? I was like, what? And my mum was like, what does he mean? We're going to get the dog. I don't know. I said, we'll just get in the car and we'll just go. And then we went, but I had to ring up and just said, is the Westie in kennel 39, is he still there? And she went, let me wait a minute. And that phone call was the longest phone call of my life. She come back and she went, yeah. I said, do not let him go. I said, we're coming for him. All right. And put the phone down. And obviously raced over there and then we got him. But like, we didn't know. She said, oh, what are you going to call him? So I said, we're going to call him Bert. And she went, all right. Do you know his kennel name? I said, no. And she went, oh, he's called Roberto. And that's his name. He's like mum and dad and his breeder. Give him. And she went, oh,
wow.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. But honestly, hand on heart, he is. I mean, I know many people say their dog is the best dog, but like since the first night, and when they're puppies, they have little wee mats and things like that. And you know, he did a wee on his wee mat, and he's never once messed, weed, chewed, nothing. He's done absolutely nothing. He's just a good lad. He has like his routine in the morning. We go out, comes, you know, all that kind of stuff. He has apple and carrot and all his toys and things, but he just loves his routine, his life. And he's the best boy, but he knows me. And I think, you know, when people say about reincarnation and all that kind of stuff, Bert knows me better than I know myself.
Yeah.
So when he knows me, he's known me before. And I know that for a fact because he knows me more than anyone. And that kind of connection I've got with him, you know, I've never had before. And I don't know if it's because we brought him up, you know, from a puppy. And he's the first dog I brought up from a puppy. But there's just never been a dog like him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, brings me a lot of joy.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't imagine life without him at all. No.
Definitely not. Bless your heart. Well, look, darling, it's been a joy. It really has. You're such a bright light. And I'm really, truly blessed and honoured to know you and to have you as a guest on here. And I thank you, honestly, from my heart, because you're a star, honestly. So thank you.
Anytime, and likewise as well, right back at you. And you know what you're doing is, you know, you're supporting people and you're, you know, helping people shine their light as well. And you know, more people that do this, the better, because it's a new thing. You know, people are enjoying it on, you know, videos, podcasts, everywhere. But it doesn't matter. You know, I always think for me, it's not about, you know, people go, oh, it's the numbers or it's this. I was like, well, has one person seen it? Have they liked it? Has it helped them? Yeah, great, my job's done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, but you're getting there, and that's it, and that's what it is. And you know, not everything's going to happen overnight.
No, I know.
You know, and you just got to go with it. And I think, you know, as long as, you know, you've got that heart and it's all, you know, genuine, so you win-win. Really, it could only get better.
Absolutely. Well, look, guys. Go and check Kris out. He's awesome. He will, as you've seen from this interview, he'll light you up. So go and check him out. I'll put all his links down here. But thank you. Honestly, like I say, it means so much and I really appreciate you. And to all those watching this video, thank you for being here too. And as always, I will see you on the next one. So big love. Take care. Thanks very much, Kris.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.